The Elishan Empire, the major power of the world, controlling most of the hemisphere through its economic and military might. However, what does the architecture of this empire look like? That is the question that I'm seeking to explore in this video. Welcome back everyone to the channel. My apologies for the long distance between uploads. However, as I mentioned before, I am now a student at a university learning their BFA program, and as such it's been very demanding and occupying. But I've learned many new things, many of which that I'm going to apply in this video today, those specifically being perspective and concept art skills. Now, something that I learned throughout the concept design class was that you really want to make a lot of iterations and explore and study the references that you're looking at. And I wanted to begin exploring some of that principle into my own work. The specific references that I'm looking at are Greek and Roman architecture and a combination of Art Deco. What I'm hoping to do is to combine these in a way to make something unique that embodies Elishan values, that being reaching towards the heavens above. Specific motifs that I'm referencing from these two different types of buildings are the pillars and columns, as well as the dome tops of the Greek and Roman stuff, as well as a combination of the angled and verticality of the Art Deco buildings. I hope to find a nice balance between these, but I definitely want to add a little bit of sprinkle of Victorian inspiration there. Whether I've done this successfully or not, I think needs more revision. This is just one concept after all, and I hope to do many more explorations. In this particular video, I just explore a simple docking building, where airships and lighter vehicles can go up into its docks, which are elevated above the floor, allowing for the ease of transportation of goods and resources. However, what ends up happening is that I take this simple sketch and I end up rendering it a little bit to sort of give it an ambience, sort of end up making more of a mood piece than rather a finished artwork that is technical. Additionally to this, I'm also applying some of the perspective stuff that I've learned, establishing an eye line and sort of having an idea of where some vanishing points might be. However, I do think I need to address that this drawing isn't technically perspectively correct, but more or less perspectively inspired. However, if you're interested in learning about the mathematics of how perspective really goes down, I actually have quite a bounty of knowledge to share with you guys. So let me know if that's something that you are interested in learning about, which I might be able to share. But with that said, I end up taking this piece and putting it in context to a sort of a moody, cloudy, foggy skyline with all the city in the background, showing this metropolis of some sorts. Additionally, Elishia also has beliefs of being bold and fancy and luxurious. As mentioned before, the empire is a prosperous one, reaping the benefits of its colonial practices, which unfortunately are rather unethical. However, all the citizens live very good lives, and a major inspiration and feel that I want to portray with this specific piece is the idea of the Roaring 20s that was experienced here in the United States. Late night party lives and luxurious and eccentric buildings and commodities. However, those were the things I was aiming for. Whether it's successful or not, I invite you guys to let me know. I would love to get more feedback from you guys, as many of you guys had lots of things to say in my past videos, specifically the airship video. I realized there's a lot of things that I was not informed about, and I'd like to address some of those things and overall just redesign many of the things that I've done up to this point. The curriculum that I've been a part of has taught me really how to think, and the most believable stuff is informed about real-world equivalents. So I hope to be doing more studies about how real things function in life and be able to apply some of that knowledge into my designs as well. I also want to take an opportunity to discuss the story side of things. While the film Darker Skies has a lot to do with world building, I also want to have compelling characters with interpersonal conflicts. And I want to have all these different point of views sort of converge at the end, despite them coming from different walks of lives. However, I definitely need to look into this more, do some research, and begin to write some compelling characters, but I hope you'll join me for that once I begin to upload videos on that. For now, you can see one of the characters will be in the foreground of this illustration that you'll see in a moment. But this character is named Nicole Wingheart, and she comes from a life in Elishia as a citizen, but gets forced into the Navy after an unexpected draft. But that's what I can share for now. I hope that you guys enjoy the videos I have planned later on, discussing more world building stuff, specific technologies, and just characters as well. I also want to take a moment to talk about my creative process as a whole. I've realized that in recent times, I've sort of been paralyzed at the choice of doing anything. I felt that my skills weren't good enough for the ideas that I was trying to pull off, and as a result, nothing got done. I feel like I have to present finished work, and it's gotten me nowhere, quite frankly. So, moving forward, I kind of want to be more loose about the things that I do. I don't want to be sloppy, of course, but I want to share sort of the entire creative process, from the rough stuff to almost finished stuff, and hopefully some quality stuff in the future. I feel this way I'll be able to share more ideas more frequently and allow me to make more mistakes. Yes, mistakes, because apparently you cannot arrive to a correct solution, in quotation marks, until you find out what it was that was wrong. Mistakes guide you towards the correct thing, and I think that doing more of it will help me get better things. With that said, I hope you'll join me for the process. If you like what you've seen here, I hope you subscribe and follow along. What I end up doing here is sort of making a short cinematic, sort of getting a mood, sort of getting a feeling for the setting. Without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this little mock-up of ambient piece. I'll see you all in the next one.